Well, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up those football gods. Wake up here, football gods. Apologize. I'm actually late getting this thing going today because I overslept. I think it's the damn pain pills between my back and my knees that, I hate taking. I hate taking medication. But it knocks you basically the F out. Tomorrow I get an MRI to get this knee looked at to find out how bad it is. I think they're going to tell me, you're just old. You're just old. There's nothing we can do for you. You're just old. Just deal with it and take some more pain pills. So today, guys, our Dallas Cowboys, of course, are still getting to work and everything else. Yesterday was actually a really good day for the defense. The defense is getting a little bit, what is the word I'm searching for? The defense seems to be getting a little bit of a swagger here with the inflection of new talent and new players from outside. It feels like last year we were going to a funeral. This year, I feel like we're going to Mardi Gras, that this is a party happening right now. And you're seeing guys that are really, really stepping up and making plays. Micah Parsons was having a great day yesterday and showing you why he was the first-round draft pick for the Cowboys. At least we're talking about practice. And I know it's not a game now. We're talking about practice without pads. But you can generally see, which players are the cream of the crop and the guys that are rising. And we're going to have a lot of people take roles that they didn't have before on this team and hopefully step up and become the guys that we need them to be, big-time players. One of these, which quietly, very quietly, because we've been used to in his time in the NFL of so much drama and suspensions, is Randy Gregory. The thing that I think bodes well for the Cowboys, at least in the short term, is that there's so many people who are literally fighting it out for positions that I don't remember a time where you've had so many high-priced players that people look as this could be it, from Zeke Elliott to Van Der Esch to Jalen Smith, that they're all put on blast where they've got to perform if they're going to be here. And another one of those is Randy Gregory. Now, Randy Gregory, here's the thing that's crazy. I've done several videos about Randy Gregory. We're putting a lot on a guy that's got basically 10 sacks in his career. I think 8.5 in the last 2 seasons. But the thing about Randy Gregory is pretty much coming almost off the street and playing. He's not getting OTAs. He's not getting off-season work. He is just, okay, he started, practicing with the team in week 6. So he hasn't had a chance to really hone his craft and also hasn't had a lot of damage to that body in his time here. He's still very, very raw. Randy Gregory, sometimes, we'd make a great play and then he'd get a bonehead one where it would be he hit the quarterback below the knees or it was a late hit. He was very exuberant about wanting to get there. So if you could see the rage that was in him. Now it seems like he's becoming Zen-like, that he's found inner peace. I could look at somebody like Ricky Williams, who the New Orleans Saints traded their whole draft to the Washington football team, all of them, to get their number 1 pick so they could draft Ricky Williams. I want to say that one more time. The first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the 7th round. We'll give you all that, and we're going to go get Ricky Williams. Yeah, Mike Ditka did that. The pressure on Ricky Williams was immense. I mean, there was basically Sports Illustrated. They had a Sports Illustrated cover with Mike Ditka at the altar with Ricky Williams in a wedding dress, okay? It was literally, they were married, they were joined at the hip. This was do or die. And much like Randy Gregory, Ricky Williams liked to smoke that weed. He got traded to Miami and decided, you know what? I'm going to go on a sabbatical where I'm just going to go smoke weed. And left. Miami Dolphins sued him for back money because of the contract they signed him for. But he found himself and came back and ended up being a really good running back after the fact. He changed the narrative. He found inner peace. He was no longer fighting the demons and the expectations that were there of him. And then he could just go out and play football. It sounds like that's the case when you start listening to Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory had a press conference that went on for almost 16 minutes, which may be the most collectively we have heard from Randy Gregory in his time in Dallas. I'm going to play a little bit of it. It's kind of like I said, it's 16 minutes, but I think it's actually key to listen to him about some of the keys of what he's learning in practice and how he views himself.
What does it mean to be out here for the off-season portion of the practice rather than coming back training camp or beginning of the season?
It's a big deal, you know. I've missed I think the last time I've had a actual training camp where I was involved or mini camp or OTAs, anything like that was rookie year. So it feels good. It's real refreshing. You know, I'm really working on the fundamentals, the details, and trying to get down this playbook. But, you know, it's fun to be around the guys this early, and it feels good to be out there.
How will it make you a better player being around now and doing all this stuff?
Well, it keeps me focused. You know, I think my downside in the past has been, you know, having a lot of time to myself and, you know, obviously not being with the team that, you know, has more time for myself. So I think that was a tough time for myself. And so, you know, being here around the guys in the locker room, day to day, week to week, being around the coaches, you know, kind of just giving me a purpose. You know, it feels good, kind of keeps me motivated and keeps a good head on my shoulders.
How would you describe Dan Quinn, Randy?
Oh, man, Dan, you know, I can go all day with him. He's, you know, I joke a lot. Me and him kind of go back. He worked me out pre-draft over at Nebraska and really liked him, liked his intensity, I liked his attention to detail. And, you know, he's a player's coach. He really knows how to relate to the guys, and he communicates well, and, you know, he commands your attention when he's in a room. So, you know, that's the type of guy you want as a leader. That's the type of guy we need, you know, leading our defense. And I'm really excited to have him, you know, now on this next leg of my career, you know, and it's real fun to be around him.
What are they asking you to do differently this year than last year in this new scheme?
Honestly, not that much, in my opinion. I think as far as, you know, what position I'm going to play, which it'll be a lot of Sam, a lot of rush in. You know, that's similar to what I've done last year. You know, what I can say is that I think it's a little bit more diverse as far as the different looks we can give on defense. I think it's going to be a lot more fun for us, at least for me. And it'll really be able to stretch my limits athletically on the field as far as me dropping in coverage, you know, lining up wide and trying to get to the quarterback and different games and stunts we can do as a D-line. So it really appeals to me. I'm sure it appeals to a lot of the other guys, but in my opinion, it's kind of similar to what we did last year.
How much did you miss just having a structured offseason? Like season end, you're working out, now you got the OTAs and these kinds. How much did you miss that? Because you obviously have some issues going on away from you.
Yeah, I mean, I missed it a bunch. You know, it's, you know, like I said earlier, it really gives me purpose instead of, you know, sitting around or working on something in my personal life. You know, this kind of gives me a, you know, excuse to get up in the morning and have fun. Mm-hmm. You know, what I like about this staff, you know, right now is that they are making it fun. They are looking at the details and the stuff that really builds, you know, a good football player, not just the X's and O's and knowing where to be on this particular play. You know, they're really trying to get the best out of you, and they're trying to perfect things that I feel like, you know, if I was working on these things at the beginning of my career in college, you know, there's no telling what I would have been doing, you know, athletically on the field. So, like I said, it's real refreshing to get out there and have that attention to detail, not only from, you know, your coaches, but also your teammates.
Was it encouraging to you to have the some of the success that you had last season, despite not having the sprain, despite missing the first several games, to show that you can produce at a high level despite having missed all that?
Well, I've always been confident in myself. I've always felt like I could, compete at a high level. I think last year was more about getting me out there in the right spot and actually giving me an opportunity to show what I could do on the field. And, honestly, at times I felt like I didn't get that chance. I think it was pretty obvious. But, I have a lot of faith in the staff right now. I have a lot of faith in my play. And, it's going to be fun to go out there and play in this defense.
Were there times last season where you were itching, if not even begging, to play more?
Of course. And if, if you're a player out here that's not itching to get on the field, I don't know why you're out there. So, obviously I want to be out there. I obviously feel like there's things I could do to help the team win. And I honestly felt like when I did go out there, with the sample that I was able to put out there, I've done a pretty good job. Enough so that I feel like the new staff knows what they have in me and knows what they need to do to kind of get me where I need to be as a player.
What did they tell you last year when you asked them, why am I not playing more, or how do I get more snaps? Were they just trying to protect you because you've not played that much in such a long time? What did they tell you?
It was a lot of factors. It was a lot of factors. I wouldn't necessarily say it was anything with me in particular, but I will say there was a lot of factors that played into it. Obviously, like I said, I wasn't happy with the amount of playing time I had. Were there conversations about that? Of course. I think that's more internal between me and them. But yeah, I mean, it's obvious that I wanted to be out there, and there were conversations that were had, and it's in the past. And like I said, I have a lot of faith in the staff we have right now. And I'll put my faith in them and go out there and give them all I have.
How would you compare where you are now physically in terms of where you were at the end of last season or at any point in your NFL career?
Honestly, these last 2 years have been, real good for me physically. I think last year was the best I came in as far as weight and strength wise. And, for me, it was about, this offseason, not letting my weight drop, kind of building on that, not letting my strength drop, not being away from the facility too long. If I need time off in the off season, I'll take it. But, when it's time to come in and put some work in, I'm going to do that. So, I came out here before OTAs, and I was working out here. So, I don't think there's been a big drop-off physically for me like I've had in the past. There's been off seasons where I've dropped a lot of weight, and it's an uphill battle to get that weight put on, before the season, before camp. That's not the case last year or this year. And, like I said, right now it's about, honing my skills, getting better at, particular details of pass rushing, the playbook, and the whys as far as like, why am I doing this on this particular play? So it's easier to focus.
Okay, I'm actually going to stop it right there because and you can hear the whole thing on here. This is actually interesting that he actually quantified last year, because the interesting thing, as bad as our defense was last year, and when things are bad and you continue to try and do the same things and trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, it doesn't work. You need to try different things. And to me, when you looked at where we were with, say, Dontari Poe, and they ended up giving Gallimore more opportunities, you saw Gallimore, one, learn a lot, which is going to help him with this season. But two, you saw him playing night and day better than Dontari Poe, and made you realize this is the future, this guy's the past. And we had times last year where Randy Gregory finally was reinstated for the 10 games. The 10 games, he never actually started any of them. And maybe they felt that Aldon Smith, of course, was the better option. Aldon Smith played really well in the beginning of the season, but kind of petered off in the end. But it sounds like there was office politics maybe is the way to describe it, that maybe that some people weren't motivated to use him, that were holding things against him and not allowing him to get as much playing time as he could have. And this is where maybe this was a dynamic of Mike Nolan, who had Aldon Smith when he was in San Francisco, the relationship there. I think he was with them. I may be wrong in that one. Let me recorrect that one. But maybe, actually, Fossil had more of a relationship with them. But it may have been that Randy Gregory was the outsider, the guy that wasn't there at the beginning of training camp, and they were making him pay and suffer to get to where he wanted to be and didn't have the faith in him. As Randy just said, there were discussions and things on there. But for me, last year should have become a learning experience for the team. Once you lost Dak Prescott, once you started playing 4 different quarterbacks, once you realized that the season was down the toilet, what you need to start doing is clearing the bench and find out which mother humpers should be here and which ones need to go, and give people an opportunity. You had, money-wise, so little invested in Randy Gregory. It was basically the upside of him is huge. He's less than $1 million. If we find out that he can play and we know we have him under contract for next year, we're good. We're golden. Let's give him more opportunities. You knew that Aldon Smith in his 30s wasn't necessarily the guy, but we can't quantify that one way or the other. But definitely, it was a mistake not to play him more. And so when you think about him never starting the game and getting what he did done, he actually played really well. And now you see the inner peace, it seems, in him. He's relaxed. He feels comfortable. He feels confident in the coaching staff. He's learning the fundamentals, as he put it, and not having OTAs and off-season workouts since he was a rookie. To me, that's like you're going to race on Sundays, but you're driving 55 miles an hour during the week to get ready for it. You just don't do really well. You don't perform like you can without that practice. And hopefully, we are seeing, like I said, a turnaround like Ricky Williams, and an opportunity to come into the season knowing how to play, where to be, and actually getting a chance to put it to use. So, guys and ladies, you know the deal.
Our folks here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is,
all right, it's time for me to go to work. Got work to do in the workshop, got more racks for you guys to do, and we are doing that table. The Dallas Cowboys end table. I know, Mike J, I know you're going to get the first one, Mike. You're going to get the first one. As always, I appreciate you. Peace out. It is if I can. The daggone button will go.